Good morning and welcome to Who Am I? Who am I? The Who Am I Deal Network. No, Who Am I is just a little show I invented. It's where I personally do my thesis musings about the nature of humanity and the nature of the matrix, the grid of reality, time space reality that surrounds us all. What's common between us? What's different between us? What's what does my life like? What does everybody in their own lane look like? How would that work? Why does it work? How are we designed? What so humanity has problems. Depending on who you are, pick your pet problem. The thing that bothers you the most out there in the world and the one in your personal life. What's going on with your personal life? It's not working, or what are you frightened of in the collective field? Is it war? Is it poverty? Is it um, ostracization? Is it not fitting in? Is it being victimized? What are you worried about? And what do you think will save you? You know, there really is only one problem. There is only one problem. That's basically the summation of my thesis will always come back to this. There is only one problem. And therefore, there's only one solution. And it doesn't matter what your problem is, the solution is the same. What is this same solution that's actually completely different in every case? It's the same but different. So what is it? It's alignment. Alignment. Why is alignment the only thing you should think about? Because you may not be aware that you are two beings. There's two of you in there. Have you noticed that it feels it feels funny inside your head? Like sometimes there's thoughts thinking you, that there's cross currents going on that you don't fully have control over. The reason is because there are two of you in there, and you may not have been accounting for it. Now, there's lots of different ways that you can think of this other inside of you. The bigger one, the one that you don't have conscious control over, the one that is connected to the reality of the atomic structure of the field as it changes too. I mean, the current all the time, it is in touch with reality. That's what your higher self is in touch with. It's in touch with reality. Reality, as in, it knows who you are, it knows who you have been the whole time. It can see the atomic field as it morphs. What am I saying? I'm talking spirituality, but I want to talk about it in terms of physics, people. And it's by way of being able to put this thing together spiritually slash philosophically slash in physics slash in my own imagination slash consciousness. It makes a difference. It really makes a difference. And if more people would do this, we could get to a really cool place as humanity. And quite frankly, I think that's where we're going. Just unfortunately, I've spotted it way early. And now I've got to deal with the fact that I can imagine something fully that isn't actually materialized just yet. And I have to do something about that. But actually, that's all right. That's all right. I asked at some point. very clearly. I said, I want to be a visionary. I want to see. I want to see. Well, the backside, the downside of that is okay, you see it, but then you look around at what we've actually got, and it's like, oh, we're not there yet, are we? Oh, hmm, that's two distinctly different worlds. What am I going to do about that? Am I going to live in the conditional world of reality that I find me and my people in? A world of poverty and war, um, unintended climate change. Now, don't get me wrong, there are great patterns of climate change upon this earth, on this planet. There is. But we are taking a normal, more gentle, and would have been drastic enough natural event and exacerbating it and causing ourselves to be inflexible. We don't know what to do about anything. We're and and the authoritarian playbook is barreling down on us yet again. Call it a president, make all the rules, establish 250 years worth of law, normalcy, and precedence. And what happens? The same thing. The authoritarian wants to rule, and then there is this whole subset of human beings under the throes of authoritarian psychosis themselves who want a king. They want a monarch. They want a pharaoh. They want a. That's why the pattern keeps playing out that way. But I think it keeps playing out that way because we don't know who we are. We don't really understand how the mechanism works, and we don't really understand how we would get something better than that. Well, I'm going to talk about things like synchronicity during the course of my show, whether it's today or tomorrow or the next day. I'm having a hard time because there are guests in the room right next door to me, and the walls are thin, and I don't really want to be a pest, but I want very much to get one of these in the can before I go to Europe, just in case I meet somebody that I want to show it to. Sorry about that. I'm back. I had to go deal with the cat. I may still have to deal with the cat. And it's questionable whether or not I will find my way back to the thread of thought that I was on before I left. As a matter of fact, here's the problem. Fairly hopeless around here lately, trying to get it according to the can. One of the problems is I am in a frame of mind to do this early in the morning, and later in the day, different things encroach. You know what, Room? I'm going to do something. So sorry. I have gotten rid of the cat. Hopefully that works. Or anyway, back to my thesis, which is basically whatever problem you as a human being are focused on thinking is the problem that you need to address in your life. Whatever it is, the answer is always alignment. Alignment, knowing that there are two of you, and one is always trying to give you guidance. And the guidance it gives you is when you resonate with it, it feels good. And when you don't resonate with it, it feels bad. And you're that should be enough. That should be enough. But amazingly, human beings time have a hard time with this. So, what is the problem that you focus on? Is it the politics of the day, which seem quite troubling? The polarity between the two parties? and the absolute authoritarian bent that one has, and the forces of democracy trying to prevail on the other side. Democracy, freedom, uh, a spirit of inclusion and kindness. Um, that sort of thing is trying to prevail on the other side. Um, maybe it's the fact that it's so freaking hot and dry. It's so hot and dry. My land is turning into a desert right before my eyes. You know, what used to be one level of rainfall is turning into another. My river is drying up, and uh, that's another issue, actually. But you know what? Our understanding of who we are and source energy will fix even that. And I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of things that we can do that we aren't doing because we're focused in other ways. We're focused on the military machine. Put way too much of our organization, our interest, our thought, and our treasure that direction. Way too much. Way too much. There's reasons why we do all of these things, um, and the getting out of it is sort of a whole package. Oh, here comes the dog. Hmm. So let me ask a question here, first of all. What's the point of this show? The point of this show is actually, um, there's a number of reasons for it. One is, oh, what is the point of this show? That's a good question. Because I don't necessarily think a lot of people are going to listen to it, but um, it has been an exercise for me putting together, summing up out loud and in front of myself, as opposed to just quietly in the background in my own voice, in my own voice in my head. Um, I could see the pattern of something, and I just needed to. Hmm, actually, I don't know why I've asked that question. It's going to mess up the whole show. Well, truthfully, I like to think about these things. That's the biggest reason why I do it. I believe that this particular understanding will help us, will help humanity solve all of our problems. Every single problem um, can be fixed using the same technique of alignment, understanding who we are and lining our two selves up. Everywhere where anyone has any problems, it's because somehow we are crossing our own energy stream. We are contradicting our own desires. We are hmm, we are out of alignment, and alignment would fix all things. So how does this work? You are two beings. That's the most important thing to start with. Uh, well, you could start with you're a vibrational being in a vibrational universe, and there are two of you standing where you are. One is the one you know of, the one you're familiar with, the one you think with, the one whose body you inhabit, the one who is made of atoms, the one with a physical brain, a physical skull, and a physical body that doctors and whatnot can see and work with. That one you know. Did you know there is another one standing there with you? And this is the secret. This is the secret sauce. This is the part that means everything. This greater self that you are standing with you is pure vibration, not particularly attached to any um, physicality in the field, other than it recognizes all the physicality in the field. It recognizes how your physicality relates to the physicality of the rest of the field and what things you would actually like, what you would like to experience, what you would like to feel, what you would like to see. Your greater self knows all of those things. Now, people have come at this from a spiritual and philosophical standpoint for thousands of years, and they talked about, you know, this aspect of reality. But we're going to add in something else. We're going to add in, so back in 2012, Nassim Haramein, and I think there are other people on his paper too. I know the one published in 23 has a couple of names that I have a very hard time pronouncing. Um, they're French names, and I would slaughter them um, if I tried to say them, especially without looking at the way they're written right in front of me, which I don't have. But anyway, he published some physics papers that started describing the actual universe the way it actually is. And his mathematics is working perfectly, and it dovetails beautifully with sacred geometry and universal consciousness and this feed forward feedback system where the universe is learning and we are the universe. And it's all holographic. And it's holographic through a system of, you could think of them as Russian doll nested black holes from the subplonk to the plonk to the all the different scales to the universe to the multiverse. We live in a really amazing and connected through this energy matrix, very connected universe. And what you actually are as you walk through your life is you're not, consciousness is not an epiphenomenon of your physical brain. That's not exactly what's happening. It's more like your brain is a transmitter and a receiver to an entire field that is aware of itself. Um, and the signal that you're putting out is it's a whole signal. There's just one thing you're putting out, but the one thing that you're putting out is a combination of other things. First of all, I always like to remind people at this point that you are not actually a singular self. You are sort of, um, you and your physical body and your physical brain have been elected in a way to be the spokesperson for some 50 to 100 trillion of you living in your body. You are 50 to 100 trillion separate consciousnesses, each and every one of them working autonomously for their own individual needs. However, in doing so, they are also at the same time working for each other. So every cell in your body working for itself, tagged into the rest of the signal of the whole, is working for itself, but not against the body. Not unless it loses that part of the signal, in which case it turns into something like cancer, where it just you know, grows and grows and grows over there in its corner of your body without consideration of what it's doing to the rest of the body. That's what a cancer is. That's kind of what human beings are being on the planet at the moment. And the reason they're doing that is because they're not in alignment. In general, we are not taught from a matter of fact position, an abstract without emotion position about our dual nature. We're not taught about it. So that's what I'm talking about today, the fact that you are two selves. And alignment between these two selves is the only thing that you need ever think about. If you would line up with what your inner being cares about, hmm, if. So, how long do I want to go to? I'm 21 minutes in. I just got to get practiced at this. I got to get practiced. Hmm, who am I? Who am I and why am I here? What does it mean to be a human being? And how do we fix every problem that existeth upon the face of the planet? Understand our own nature, and it will fix the problem. It will imply the fix of the problem if it doesn't directly fix the problem. Um, so we have water shortages on this planet. There's things we can do about that. First of all, we need to understand source energy because source energy is going to give us the energy source, the literal power source to fuel all of the things that we want to do, including all the recycling, all of the carbon resequestering. We can capture the carbon we released into the atmosphere and put it back in the ground. We can do it, but it takes energy to do it. And right now, all the energy that we use comes from sources that are ultimately dirty sources. There is only one clean energy source, and that is source energy. And it's clean and it's free and it's everywhere. The only problem is to understand source energy, we need to understand ourselves, which we certainly do not. There's a lot of reasons we need to understand ourselves, especially if we harness source energy, because we have this thing, this problem, this psychological problem that we keep coming up against, where the authoritarian psychosis comes back to the surface and the people want to you know hand over in their minds and in their hearts everything, all the responsibility to the dear Führer, to the dear leader, and assign to him a kind of superhuman um, capability. Now, part of it is not entirely far fetched because part of that really comes from a belief that human beings are incredibly special and that it would be possible to have someone as the dear leader who would actually have a a greater grip on an understanding of the situation. I'll tell you what, the only way that will be is if the leader is in absolute alignment with their own inner being, unconditionally, like absolutely. So they're just like a second source beacon, ping into source. And when you look at them from the outside, you can see them doing that, as well as when you do it yourself from the inside, you can feel that. And so it's like this extra confirmation. That'd be the only way. Have you ever heard of a leader like that? I would think it would have to probably be female and completely unconditional, where she's just saying, no, this is the truth about reality. But now The actual situation is every individual must now take this equation, work it for themselves, and then decide individually. I must individually decide what I must do. No one else can tell me what to do. People can help me understand myself, more clearly understand the situation that I'm in. They can help me um, uh, ping my own guidance. But at the end of the day, I have to be the one that says, this is what I'm going to do. No one else can do that for you. Now, that's both a blessing and a curse. It's more of a blessing, but until you learn how to do it, it kind of feels like a curse. What do you mean I have to decide what to do? I don't want to decide what to do. I want you to tell me what to do. That would be so much easier. So, well, you got to understand who you are. You have to understand that you yourself are the only one who can call your position where you exactly are on the space time continuum grid. And from that position, pull in the information of your particular location and then step forward from where you are. No one else can call that for you. You have to do it yourself. You have to do it yourself. This is both good news and bad news. It's excellent news for freedom because ultimately, this is the freedom we all look for, the freedom to call my own path, the freedom to answer my own question. Who am I and what do I want? Knowing that I am worthy of answering that for myself and then doing what I want. Do I want to keep publishing this? It's a good question. I don't know how good I'm doing and how illustrative of my craft this particular recording is. I don't know. One thing, I can feel my voice pitched really low, and it puts my the tone in a different register too. Awesome. I have often thought that what the position that needs to happen is Queen of the World. But what would Queen of the World actually do? What would she be? She'd have no actual power. Nobody, she has no power other than the power that people give her in their own minds because they recognize her own wisdom. But other than that, she has no power to punish anybody, make anything happen, other than the power that she has to convince people and elicit their kind and loving agreement in large, orderly ways that help humanity. But it's all voluntary, 100,000% voluntary. None of it is forced. All of it is voluntary. So, what is this position, Queen of the World? She sees unconditionally the conditions of the world, recognizes every individual's autonomous, well, I call it divine autonomy, but it's their autonomous value and position and authority, your autonomous authority. That's your divine autonomy. The the sacred value of the position that you hold on the grid. That's that's what she recognizes. Each and every soul must heal their path. However, you don't have to do it alone. We are an entire field moving together. We are a field phenomenon. And how is this field moving? Well, I'm going to tell you how it's moving. And this is fundamental. Uh, it's going to seem kind of so fundamental, you're going to wonder what the heck I'm talking about. What it's doing is it's spinning. It is spinning together. There is a field of spin that is occurring. The whole field is spinning together. And then every autonomous individual is also spinning individually. You're putting your own spin on it. It's all about spin because literally the Planck field is. So imagine what this Planck field is. What's a Planck? Shortest frequency that can be had in this particular physical universe. How do you calculate what a Planck is? Well, take a photon going at the speed of light, and at the speed of light, it crosses its own diameter, which is very small because a photon is very small and it's going very fast because the speed of light is as fast as you can go physically, and then it doesn't go very far. It's a really, really short frequency. As a matter of fact, how small is a Planck? How many Plancks can fit inside of a proton, which itself is very, very small? A proton is a little vortex of spin at the center of the atom. It's what's giving the atom its mass, the proton. Um, and how many Plancks fit in a proton? Well, if you made every Planck, grew it to the size of a grain of sand, still pretty small, but way bigger than a Planck. Now, how big would the proton be? It would be from our sun to Alpha Centauri. It's like 4 light years, something like that. It's really long ways. Make it a sphere, fill it with sand. That's how many Plancks are going to be in that proton now. As a matter of fact, the Planck field in that proton is reflecting all of the information of all of the rest of the protons, the physicality, the matter in all of the rest of the universe. That there is a correlation. It's all holographic. And as everything happens in the field around, there's stuff happening. Your atoms are moving around. They're all the atoms have a temperature and a direction that they're moving and a speed, and you know and there's collections of atoms that we call things like trees and animals and books and houses and stuff like that, and all of that is changing every Planck second. Those things are changing, where the atomic structure is and what the temperature is and how all of it, the velocity, it's all changing. And source energy is keeping track of all of it. How is it doing it? It's doing it holographically and it's doing it vibrationally. Um, as it's like, think of it this way: every Planck nano instant, the information of all of the field around you is uploading to the whole, and the whole is downloading to all of the individual parts. All the individual Plancks are uploading their information to the whole. They're saying, right now, in this Planck instant, I am here. My temperature is X. I am moving in this direction. My speed, my velocity is blah, 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 blah. I am connected to this and that and the other, and the configuration looks like such and such. And every vibrational instant, it is uploading and updating that information. across the whole field. That's what it's doing. And so you are known. Who you are is known to the whole field, and the whole field is known to you. In this second aspect of yourself, your larger aspect, there's two of you, a small you that you know of, and a larger source-based, vibrationally, holographically connected to the whole thing, and holographically, it is your job in life to align your two selves. It's the only job you've got, truly. And that one job will take care of all things. Because when you are in alignment, you are purposeful, you are happy, you have focus and direction and meaning to your life. Who am I? It's a good question. It's a good question. It's a valid question. And the answer to that question is going to solve all problems, no matter what problem it is that you think we ought to focus on. Now, personally, I don't think we should focus on any of our problems. I think we should focus on the solution, which is an understanding of who am I, which is why I focus this way. However, a lot of people tend to focus on the problems. No matter what problem you tend to focus on, the answer is the same. Find your alignment, and your two selves will blend perfectly. Now, the larger self that you are, that knows what's going on around you, and knows what you want, and knows who you are, and knows all of those things, that self can enter your small self life and inject wisdom and sanity and alignment into your life. What is this alignment thing I'm talking about? Well, the opposite of this alignment is crossed energy. It's one of you going one way and the other one going the other way. And now your two streams of power are split and you're working at cross purposes. You are no longer working in tandem with yourself, you're working at odds with yourself. What's the solution? Well, I find it helps to actually ponder the physical nature of your situation, the physical nature of your dual self. I am, I am this conventional self. I also am this larger self. And as I cross identify with your larger self, some matter of fact things start happening to you in your physical life. Well, first of all, when people bring problems to you, I don't see the answers the way I used to. I see the answers differently now. It's always a question of alignment. Your problem is you're out of alignment. Instead of your problem is you're doing this and you need to do that. I can't say what you should do. Should you move? Should you not move? Should you stay? Should you marry this guy? Should you marry that guy? Should you, um, what decision should I make about my child? Well, that one gets a little trickier, but it's always the same. The answer is always the same. Understand yourself and understand source energy. What is the source energy? And how is it going to save us from fossil fuels? Well, it will, and it can, because it is a field of continuous energy that is everywhere, and it's fueling everything. It's fueling the energy of the sun. It's fueling the spin of the earth. It's fueling the spin of the galaxies and the quasars and the black holes at the center of the galaxies and all of the protons that are each and every one of them a black hole reflecting all of the information of all of the universe across its Planck field. Um, I just can't even tell you the potential of source energy to fuel our civilization. Now, you don't have to take my word for it, and it's not years in the future. Some of this has been created in the past and then buried for some of it good reasons. We can't be trusted with source energy until we understand who we are. Because this authoritarian psychosis thing is a problem. And especially when you have the half the field trying to hand all of our power over to a grifter and an idiot, a moron, a narcissist, someone with no conscience and no values. Um, it's a problem because source energy is a big, big deal. Unlimited, clean, free energy is a big, big deal, especially when your consciousness is still resting in a place where $1 trillion of your treasure every year goes to the military war machine. When you hand free, clean energy over to the military war machine, what does that do to society? When people still think in the us versus them paradigm that is actually the problem, the us versus them paradigm is the problem. And you go, well, I don't know what to do about that problem. That's just the way it is. No, it isn't. And you don't have to play it that way. You can play a win win paradigm. You don't have to play win lose. Win lose. Win lose just gives you a field full of losers. You don't want any losers. You want it to be 99% winners. And the only ones that end up being losers are the ones who just can't conform to the winning, who just can't stop hating on. I'll tell you who it's easy to hate. It's easy to hate the haters. But when you stop hating the haters, then you really know you've gotten somewhere. So let's see, where are we? We're 43 minutes in. You know what? Considering I do not do this very often, and I don't know how good this uh, the sound quality is going to be or anything. I'm just trying to get back into the swing. We have a big, big, big trip coming up in less than 2 weeks, like a week and a half. We are going to Iceland and Scotland. Going to be gone for 3 weeks. Family's going to be here taking care of the place, which is a blessing. Um, but I have no idea what this journey will bring to me. I am hoping that it will connect me to people and consciousness that I have never connected to, and that will be meaningful moving this body of information forward. What body of information is this? It's the who am I? Who am I? I am a vibrational being in a vibrational universe, and as such, I am a powerful, powerful creator. And we are all powerful creators. The problem is that most of us don't think that we are. And we create most of our creations in the negative self, and then we aren't owning up to it. We're disallowing and disavowing because we know that who we really are is our positive self. So we're ignoring our negative self where we're doing most of our creating. This is a big problem. It's creating all of the problems in the world, um, of poverty and unkindness and um, discord and disharmony, the lack of order that is, and the vacuum of that lack of order, we're trying to fill that with the law and force and forcing others to obey the law instead of teaching people who we are and teaching them how to dance in freedom with your own alignment. Because if you dance in alignment personally, then you can just let your freak flag fly. If you are truly in alignment with the rest of the field, in kindness, in connection, in universal consciousness, in allowance, in the flow of it, in true alignment with your two selves, then you can just lean into that. Just be that. Don't worry about anything else. Leave everyone else and everything else out of the equation if you are truly in alignment. How do you know? Well, it feels good there. It feels secure there. It feels powerful there. It feels loving and kind and connected and amazing and meaningful there. Do you feel that way? If you feel that way, baby, you are in alignment and go. Put on the gas. From that position, step on the gas. Bring your vision into this world. Um, that is the Christ in you, that pure imagination, that unconditional purity of imagination that you can see, that is analogous to the Christ spirit within you. Bring it forward. Bring it forward. That's who you really are. And with that, I'm going to cryptically end. There's plenty more to say about our nature, our design, our purpose, our meaning, and what to do about our lives. Plenty more to say, but I'll leave that for another day. I just got to get back into the saddle. I'll get a few more shows posted so that when I go to Europe, when I meet people, I can say, hey, this is what I do. It isn't really anything yet, but someday it will be something. Um, anyway, if you joined me today, I hope you join me sometime in the future or go back, comb through all of the archives that I've got going. It's how I came to the thesis place that I am in now, where I discuss our problems in terms of our solutions and how it implies our solutions. Someday I hope to have questions from the field that I can answer. That would be so much fun. It's really what I want. But until such a day, go out there, do your best, find your alignment. Know that you are a very important part of a very beautiful and blessed matrix of reality that we have only just begun to understand in the tiniest way. And the more that that opens up, our universe is just going to get better and better and more blessed and more possible. And until tomorrow or the next day or whenever I see you again, as always, may that source stay ever at your side. Oh, I mean, may the source be with you.